How's it going, everyone? We've got quite a lot of Arc Raiders updates to go over in this video. We have a new update as far as the progression wipes in the game and how Arc Raider will be handling that. That's going to be a big element of the game, and certainly one thing that they've put a lot of insight and offered a lot of information on in their latest blog post in the Expedition project. I also want to give you guys another update on the regional pricing, where a lot of prices have been adjusted, but it does seem like some places haven't been affected that do need to be affected, so we'll talk about that at the end of this video. But first of all, as noted on the official Arc Raiders website, the Expedition project. Hello all, I am Virgil, the design director of Arc Raiders. I'd like to spend a bit of time talking about a topic that is important to many players familiar with games like Arc. This being the subject of progression wipes, or as we refer to it, the Expedition project. Previously, the question of how we will handle resets or wipes has come up. Until now, the answer has been that currently we do not intend to do mandatory wipes. Those words were chosen very carefully, as we don't intend to have mandatory wipes. However, as some have guessed, we do have a voluntary reset mechanic, which I think is great. I think that's the best way to handle it. Just to make it clear, we absolutely see the benefits of a global wipe that it provides. Veteran players can experience the game fresh, the economy is reset to the baseline, and all players have about the same level of capabilities, at least for a while. However, one thing that a mandatory wipe does not do is respect the investment of those players who do not have as much time to play overall. So as we have done with several other mechanics before mimicking other established mechanics, we'd like to try our own method, ideally to the end that best suits Arc Raiders and a large majority of its players. Honestly, I prefer that route because there are gonna be a number of people, and I feel like these are the people that are also going to be the most online talking about the game. When you do a mandatory wipe, yes, the people that are super invested into the game may be able to get through it and figure it out very, very quickly. However, for those people that are more so casually playing the game, I do think that's more impactful, and respecting those players as well that might not be online all the time giving you guys feedback left and right, but those players absolutely exist and they should be respected as well. I think that's the best way to handle it, as far as from my vantage point, because while I can spend a lot of time playing games, I also play a variety of different games, and I can't be invested to one game where a mandatory wipe makes me do a lot of the content again. And again, I see value in that for sure, but at the same time, I think there's other avenues that you could go. The Expedition project is noted. The tunnel networks connected to Speranza are vast but largely unexplored or inaccessible. Most survivors stay within their settlements, but like the raiders who dared venture topside, there are those who dare venture even farther. Once the Rust Belt has given all it can offer, some raiders choose to set out beyond the borders of what they know. As of now, this has always been a one-way trip. In the full game, players will have access to a feature called Projects. At level 20, the first major project players will have access to is the Expedition project. Upon completion, this project makes a character reset available. If a player completes a reset, they will be able to do so again as long as they complete another one of these projects. The Expedition project will operate on a repeating cycle of roughly 8 weeks. During the course of these 8 weeks, players can contribute toward and make progress on their Expedition project, which will overall be a somewhat large time investment. At the start of the 8th week, the ability to finalize the project will become available and will remain available for that entire week. If a player has fulfilled all of the necessary stages of the project, they will be able to commit to completing the expedition during this period. Should a player's project not be ready during the window to complete the Expedition project, their progress will be kept, allowing them to continue working on the project until the next finalization window. So you're going to be getting extra time. Other projects may be added over the time as part of updates, holidays, and other events. These will range in scale and reward structure. So this is a bit of a FOMO aspect going on, but respecting the player's time, I feel, as well. What is kept and what is lost? So what do you keep through an expedition versus what is lost? Players will lose anything inherent to their character's progress. Levels, skills, items, inventory, workshops, crafting capabilities, etc. Players will keep cosmetics earned or purchased, awards, achievements, rankings, essentially anything rooted solely in the metagame or involving real money will be preserved. Absolutely, wiping real money tie-ins would be heinous, so that is definitely the best route to go there. For convenience, after completing the expedition, players will be able to skip the majority of the onboarding and tutorial steps they went through as a new player. This being things like unlocking certain features, maps, As they play through the early game, these will be available from the start of a fresh restart. Now, aside from players who like the thrill of starting fresh, why would you willingly give up all of your hard-earned progress incentives? Well, there are some benefits and some incentives. We are still finalizing the exact benefits and rewards, but they will generally follow along these lines. Permanent account unlocks for each completed expedition, unique cosmetic rewards for each completed expedition, account buffs that are applied for the duration of the following expedition cycle, and sequential completions of the expedition project increase the magnitude of these buffs up to a limit. One point to drive home is that we are still being very careful about the nature of these benefits. Completing a reset should never give a player a power or combat advantage over anyone who has not completed a reset. Initially, these benefits will center around cosmetics and bragging rights, quality of life, and smoothing out some aspects of progression for those who have gone through a reset. I totally believe this is something that is going to be a work in progress, and when they roll it out, they're obviously going to take feedback and that'll evolve over time. So if what in place doesn't sound ideal to you, I'm sure they're going to be looking at everything. That's one thing Embark has done very well, as far as looking through social media, active Discord, and reading fan feedback. I think that's one of the big elements. For a game like this to be sustainable in the long term, especially in the market of extraction shooters, they gotta listen to feedback, and this is gonna be something that evolves over time. While any and all of this is subject to change between now, launch, and post-launch, that is about the shape of it right now. We hope that making the reset mechanics voluntary and properly incentivized, we can observe two results. That's the key word, observe the results. So this is something that's gonna evolve. Players who are highly engaged can experience the game fresh on a regular cadence while accruing some benefits. Players who have less time to dedicate to the game don't have their progress reset outside of their control. They're always able to keep moving forward and at their own pace if they just so choose, which, again, that is totally up my alley. That's kind of in line with how I feel about difficulty options as well. A lot of people are going to want to invest a lot of hours in a game, but just because a game is a live service game or an evolving game doesn't mean you can be playing 6 to 8 hours a day. People have lives, people have things to do, and if you're not investing as much time into an experience, you should be able to voluntarily choose to retain your progress. And as far as wipes are concerned, figuring that out. It's not a silver bullet and won't achieve the clean break that a mandatory global reset does, but it does aim to be more equitable to all players. Wherever possible, we want to value your time spent in the game as much as you do. And I do feel like that is the element of games that a lot of games take for granted, that they just believe you have an infinite amount of time to do everything in the game, and they don't respect your time. Yes, you are spending a premium to play a game like this, and you are going to be spending some time to it, but I think people want their time respected as well. And I feel like playing any game, more so than the money spent, and the money spent is a big value that you're giving away, it's the time spent as well. I feel like the time spent with some of these games is the biggest equity that you are giving up. Everybody knows you can make more money, but you will never ever get your time back. And you're talking about, like, I just think about games like Destiny 2, where, I got buddies that have spent thousands and thousands of hours in the game, and now they just feel like they're in the hole and they can't get out. It's about respecting your time. But nonetheless, of course, this is a complex topic, so we'll be keeping an eye on the discussion around this message and follow up as necessary. Thank you all for your interest in the passion of Arc Raiders. Look forward to seeing you topside. That is coming from Virgil on the official post. I should also note that the open network test will be kicking off here shortly, so you'll definitely want to check that out. I should call it the server slam, as they are noting. That is October 17th until the 19th. That is your final opportunity to play the game for free. It'll be accessible to everyone on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. You can play the game for free. Your progress will not carry over into the final game, but if you want to test out how the game's gonna run, if you want to see some of the mechanics, if you want to see how the game plays, and you want to get a cool in-game backpack as a bonus, you'll get that as a part of taking and participating in the server slam. However, again, your progress will not carry over, so keep that in mind. The pre-order for the game is $39.99. The deluxe edition is $59.99. Deluxe edition doesn't include anything that insane, just a lot of in-game items. 2,400 Raiders tokens are included as well, which I would imagine 2,400 is equitable to $20, which is the premium that you're paying for the deluxe edition. But there you go with that. Lastly, I do want to note that as far as the regional pricing goes, love that they are adjusting the prices as far as making it in line with the regional price points. And if you've already purchased Arc Raiders in one of the adjusted regions, refunds should be on the way. However, there are regions that aren't seeing a lot of benefits. South Africa, for example, one user noted, is the 5th most expensive country to buy Arc Raiders, 7% above the USD. Appreciate the thought, but geez, South Africa was absolutely overlooked by this regional pricing upgrade or update. But a lot of spots did get affected, and you're talking spots minus 35% in cost, minus 34% in cost, going as low as 3% and 5%. But still, that's a decent savings, and you're talking about a lot of regions being impacted by 25% as well. A significant savings as far as adjusting the regional price point. So hopefully that becomes in line with every other region. But it's nice to see them impacting it in some form, but hopefully, again, other regions will be impacted as well. That'll do it for me. Again, notable Arc Raiders updates. The full game will be out on October the 30th, but that server slam will be kicking off on October 17th. Let me know your thoughts about how they'll be handling wipes. It will be voluntary. Sound off with your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.